The Doctor's Journal is brought to you by O Snacks and Medical Associates Hospital.
It is considered one of the top under-recognized public health crises globally, as approximately 90% of the population affected by this disease doesn't even know they have it.
Today, we unpack chronic kidney disease. Welcome to the Doctor's Journal, where we help you track your health. Hi, I'm Dr. Mike.
And I'm Dr. Sunarine. Today we dive right into chronic kidney disease, also referred to as chronic renal disease or chronic kidney failure.
Or CKD.
Yes, that too.
This condition affects more than 1 in 7 Americans. In fact, about 15% of the population is estimated to have chronic kidney disease, and its number is growing. And if that doesn't frighten you, maybe this will hit home. Stats go like this. In 2019 alone, this disease racked up a whopping $87 billion in medical expenditure.
10% of the population worldwide is affected by chronic kidney disease, and millions die each year because they do not have access to affordable treatment. In fact, here in the Caribbean, diabetes and hypertension are the leading causes of chronic kidney disease and end-stage renal failure, which continue to be a major financial challenge for those affected by the disease.
That's right, Dr. Sunarine. Our viewers at home are probably wondering, why is this organ stirring up such a fuss? Well, the kidneys play a vital role in how the human body functions.
Think of the kidney as the body's own filtering system. Just like the filters we place on our faucets to purify the water we drink, the kidneys serve the same purpose in the human body.
See our kidneys? Just like the size of a computer mouse, they filter all the blood in the human body every 30 minutes. They work hard to remove waste, toxins, and excess fluid. They also help to control blood pressure, stimulate production of red blood cells, regulate chemicals in the blood that are essential to life, and even keep our bones healthy.
Chronic kidney disease occurs when the kidneys are damaged and therefore cannot filter as well as they should. Because of this, excess fluid and waste from the blood remain in the body and may cause other health problems, such as heart disease or stroke. Kidney disease may lead to other problems like high blood pressure, anemia, and for those who might not know, that's a low blood count. It may cause weak bones as well, poor nutritional health, and nerve damage. It can also increase your risk of having heart disease.
So how do we go from having 2 properly functioning kidneys to chronic kidney disease?
Stay tuned. Right after the break, we'll share this and more with you.
Hi, I'm Nandini Samuel, a registered dietitian, and today we are going to be speaking about the benefits of Brazil nuts. According to studies, Brazil nuts is one of the richest sources of selenium. Selenium is an essential trace mineral and is known to boost immune function, support healthy thyroid, and maintain good hair and nail health. In a recent research, the supplementation of Brazil nuts during 3 months was effective in reducing oxidative stress and inflammation in hemodialysis patients. The objective of this particular study was to determine if the beneficial effects of 1 Brazil nut supplementation per day during 3 months could be sustained even after 12 months. It was concluded that the ingestion of only 1 Brazil nut per day is recommended for hemodialysis patients to get the anti-inflammatory and antioxidant protective effect of reducing renal injury and cell death. The distinctive flavor of Brazil nuts work well in both sweet and savory dishes. It can be included in smoothies, granola, salads, and some persons are even using it to make raw mayo dressings.
Eat healthy and stay positive with O Snacks Omega 3. Enjoy almonds filled with vitamin E, healthy fats and fiber. Walnuts may decrease bad cholesterol, lower blood pressure, and provide diabetic support. Amp up your vitamin B1 with pecans. Pumpkin seeds are rich in iron, protein, and zinc. Dried cranberries are an antioxidant, heart-healthy superfood. Boost your immunity with Omega 3 Mix. O Snacks, a healthier choice.
Medical Associates Hospital is the only internationally accredited tertiary healthcare institution in the Caribbean for quality in medical care. Medical Associates' gold standard for quality medical treatment, culture of safety for patients and visitors, care based on leading, evidence-based best practices and compliance with international standards make us the leader in private hospital care in the Caribbean. Medical Associates Hospital, #1 healthcare for the entire family.
Welcome back to the Doctor's Journal. If you are now joining us, we are discussing chronic kidney disease or CKD.
Now, before the break, we shared with you the importance of the kidneys to the human body. But how do we go from being healthy one day and then being diagnosed with kidney failure the next? Well, quite often it's a result of a combination of different problems, in many cases stemming from poor diet and a lack of exercise.
According to the National Kidney Foundation, the two main causes of kidney disease are diabetes and high blood pressure. And as we know how prevalent these two conditions are here in the Caribbean. For more on diabetes and high blood pressure, check us out here.
These two conditions were the primary diagnosis in 76% of kidney failure cases between 2015 to 2017. Other conditions include glomerular nephritis.
These are diseases that damage the kidney's filtering system,
which are the third most common type of kidney disease. We also have polycystic kidney disease, malformations at birth, lupus, and many other immune diseases.
You want to also be wary of obstructions such as kidney stones or an enlarged prostate, guys, and repeated urinary tract infections, which can also be from STIs. And these can cause long-term damage to the kidneys.
It is also important to note that those diagnosed with kidney disease are greater risk for cardiovascular disease and morbidity at all stages of kidney disease. Kidney disease and heart disease are linked and have common risk factors such as diabetes and hypertension.
Unfortunately, each condition can lead to or worsen the other, just like a cycle or a revolving door. That is why early detection and prevention is paramount. Now remember, we mentioned earlier that CKD is an under-recognized public health crisis. Well, that is because there are usually no symptoms of kidney disease in the early stages.
That's right, Mike. Chronic kidney disease develops over time and kidneys damage progressively slowly. It may only be diagnosed if you have a blood or urine test, which we'll get to later on. However, signs and symptoms do present at advanced stages.
If you are experiencing any of these symptoms, you want to go and check your doctor. We're looking at unexplained fatigue and weakness, swelling in your extremities, your hands, your feet, your ankles, shortness of breath, nausea or vomiting, and blood in the urine or in your pee.
You may also want to check with your doctor if you're experiencing any of the following. If you've got loss of appetite, problems sleeping, changes in your urine output, decreased mental sharpness, if you've got muscle twitching or cramping, and of course, high blood pressure.
So someone who knows the importance of early screening and detection is a special guest we have with us today called Devin Go. Good day, Devin.
Hi, good day.
Thanks for being with us today. So tell us, what has your experience been regarding dialysis? When were you first diagnosed?
2 years, 8 months, I was diagnosed. I got up one morning feeling very sick. That morning, I was getting cramps in my both legs, and I was feeling to vomit, but when I go to vomit, nothing was coming out.
Right.
And so I decided to go by the doctor. My blood pressure was like 2 something over 180, was very high.
Yeah,
So he said I could have gotten a stroke.
Yes.
And he treated me for the high blood pressure, but we didn't do any blood tests. So I decided to go by a next doctor.
Right.
So when I went by the next doctor, he sent me to do a general blood test. So I did the general blood test, and the next day I went back by him, and that's when he said, I have bad news for you. I said, what is this bad news? He said, I have to send you to the hospital to do dialysis.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow. So this is the first time that you've been doing
Yes,
kidney
first
tests?
time. Because I always used to be getting headaches and thinking it's headaches, and I didn't know was my blood pressure was high. So that is what caused the kidneys to fail. And when I went, he write an emergency letter, and I went straight to Mount Hope the evening. Like about 5 o'clock, I went down to Mount Hope. And the next day, that's when they did the first surgery for the dialysis. They give me the port by my leg, and I did dialysis for 2 weeks then. And then they sent me home. And then 2 weeks after that, I started to feel sick again.
Right.
And then I went back in the hospital, and then they gave me the one by your chest.
The permanent catheter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they say it's permanent catheter, but to me that is not permanent because you can't bathe, you can't do anything with that on your chest.
Okay, so you much prefer the fistula now.
Right. So then after that I waited a year, nearly 2 years, and then I got the fistula.
Right. And so that's how you dialyze
Yes,
now.
that's how I dialyze now.
And so how often do you do dialysis?
Well, at the beginning was twice every week because you had to pay. When your dialysis is a very expensive procedure, so it's $1,000 per session. So when they recommend that you do it twice a week until you could get the government funding for 3 times a week. And I did it for 3 months, and then I got the funding to do it 3 times a week.
Yeah. And what is the experience in terms of dialysis itself? How has that been for you?
Well, I thought it would have been a very painful procedure because it's your blood. But when I went in, it wasn't. The only thing, the place is be very cool. That's the thing.
Just have to carry your blanket.
Yeah, you had to carry 2 blankets.
Yeah.
The place will be extremely cold because the machines have to work with a certain temperature, so that's why it have to be cool. Other than that, it's just with the fistula is needles, but when I had it on my leg and my chest was 2 ports, and there was no needle going inside of me, so it was normal. Now when they use the fistula with the needles, it's just like a normal needle when you go to take blood or you go to get a vaccine or anything. The needle is a little bigger though. It's not like a vaccine needle. It's like a pencil point. And it's normal, it don't pain. You feel good after you do dialysis.
Okay, that's good for our audience to know. What else would you like to tell people who may be diagnosed with kidney failure or maybe thinking I might have some of these symptoms?
Well, first thing I will tell you, go and get a checkup, especially if it's high blood pressure, because that's the number one cause. High blood pressure and diabetes is the number one cause of kidney failure. So go by the doctor and get a complete checkup. But it's not a death sentence because you can still live a normal life doing dialysis.
I'd like to ask, how has your life changed? You know, since this diagnosis, since being on dialysis, you know, how has your life changed?
Well, it's changed a lot, especially with my diet. The dietitian will give you a diet sheet according to when you get your blood works. They will give you a thing. But the lifestyle now that I live than when I was before is totally different. If I get in a headache now, I'm going to make sure and check my pressure to see if it's high. I'm not going to say that's just a headache and take 2 Panadol.
Yes, yes. Now, finally, what would you say to family members of patients who have end-stage renal disease or at risk for end-stage renal disease? What would you say to them?
Well, I would say the first thing, support them in everything, because when you get diagnosed, you just feel like that's the end of it. Because when the day I got diagnosed, I came home and in my bedroom, I tell my wife, why this have to happen to me? And I cry for about 2 hours straight. Cry. And my wife supported me and said,
You're quite young.
Yes. And my wife said, don't worry, everything will be okay, because if you do research, it have people who live doing dialysis. They say normal is 15 years, but I go in for the 20 and 25 years. Because you have to eat properly, you do everything, and you need to support them and show them love. During this.
You've had that support.
Yes, I had the support, that's why.
Yeah, and that would have helped, things, whereas if you didn't have that support.
No, I would have been down there.
It's quite important.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Devin, for sharing this story. I know it's an emotional one, it's heartfelt. And I think that it will be very impactful to our listeners, to encourage them to get their checks as well. And, for those who have end-stage renal disease, that there is hope, that, it's not the end, So thanks a lot for being with us.
So how do you catch chronic kidney disease early? Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we would get you all the facts on early detection and treatment.
At Athena Clinic, we're committed to helping you boost your confidence and live your best life. Enhance your appearance with a non-surgical procedure or optimize your health with one of our expert doctor consultations and diet and fitness plan. Call today at 282-2262.
The best for your baby is at thebesttoys.com. From the best strollers, car seats, baby carriers, high chairs, booster seats, rockers, jumpers and bouncers, walkers, baby blankets, feeding accessories, bathtubs, gyms and playmats, playpens, cribs, baby swings, changing tables, diaper bags, clothing and accessories, and the widest range of educational toys. We carry Infantino, Dr. Brown, Avent, Graco, Chico, Fisher-Price, VTech, Leapfrog, Disney Baby, Delta Children, Medela, and Twist Shape. Visit us in-store at Forces Flagship McBean. Shop online now at thebesttoys.com. No credit card required. Free delivery throughout Trinidad and Tobago on orders over $300. Cash or links on delivery. Order via call or WhatsApp at 332-BABY. And remember, we have the best toys at the best prices.
Every year, over 145 million persons seek out the emergency room, most admitted due to ongoing medical conditions. Here on the Doctor's Journal, we aim to fix that by addressing the most prominent and devastating medical conditions faced right here in the Caribbean. And your product can help. If you or anyone you know has a product or service that you would like featured on the Doctor's Journal, contact us today at 266-SGPS. That's 266-7477. Or email us at marketing@sgpstudios.com.
Welcome back to the Doctor's Journal. Right before the break, we promised to share with you more on early detection and treatment.
We have invited a special guest to share with you more information on treatment. But first, let's look at how we can even test for CKD.
There are two main tests that can help your doctor diagnose chronic kidney disease early. The first is by testing your blood with a test called creatinine and then estimating or calculating the GFR or glomerular filtration rate. And the second is by testing your urine for albumin. Albumin is a protein that can pass into the urine when the kidneys are damaged.
Now, we often hear about knowing your numbers with high blood pressure and diabetes, but it is equally important to know and understand your numbers when it concerns chronic kidney disease. Sometimes your doctor may ask if you know how much % your kidney is working. He is likely referring to the eGFR. A GFR of 60 or more is in the normal range. Ask your healthcare provider when your GFR should be checked again.
A GFR of less than 60 mils may mean you have kidney disease, so talk to your healthcare provider about how to keep your kidney health at this level.
A GFR of 15 or less is now at the end stage, kidney failure stage. Most people below this level will eventually require dialysis or a kidney transplant, We don't want it to get to that stage.
At all. Similarly, with checking your urine for albumin levels, it is important to understand what the numbers mean. There are two ways for this test. The first is by using a dipstick test, where this testing strip is placed in a sample of urine. If the dipstick changes color, it means albumin is present. The next way is doing a urine ACR, or what it stands for is urine albumin to creatinine ratio test.
This UACR test measures and compares the amount of albumin with the amount of creatinine in your urine sample. This gives us an estimate as to how much albumin would pass into your urine over 24 hours. A urine albumin result of 30 milligrams per gram or less is normal. More than 30 milligrams per gram may be a sign of kidney disease. If you have albumin in your urine, your doctor may want you to repeat the urine test 1 or 2 more times just to confirm the results. Another very useful option is the spot urine protein to creatinine ratio.
Once a diagnosis of CKD is rendered by your doctor, you'll be now looking for the best treatment options available for your stage of CKD. Sneezing, sniffling, scratching? Reacted to your favorite food? Think it might be allergies? We at Allergenics provide personalized diagnosis and treatment for food, drug, contact, and aero allergens. Call us today at 480-4362.
The best birthday gifts are at thebesttoys.com. Shop for the best brands you love at the best prices. Like VTech, Leapfrog, Fisher-Price, Play-Doh, Hot Wheels, Barbie, Cocomelon, LOL, Baby Alive, Crayola, Lego, Nerf, and remote control vehicles, kids learning desks and educational toys, ride-ons, bikes, drones, science toys, and board games and puzzles, and a wide range of baby items. We also have the best devices for school, like laptops, the Amazon Fire 7 tablet, the Amazon Fire 8, 10, and Kids Edition tabs, as well as cases and accessories. Visit us in-store at Forces Flagship MacBean. Shop online now at thebesttoys.com. No credit card required. Free delivery throughout Trinidad and Tobago on orders over $300. Cash or links on delivery. Order via call or WhatsApp at 32DBEST to order. And remember, we have the best toys at the best prices.
Are you looking for a customizable studio space with green and white screen cyclorama and professional production equipment to carry out your next big project? SGP Studios is the perfect fit for you. TNT's largest studio space with an overhead lighting grid and sound treated, perfect for television commercials, music videos, television programs, social media content, and film productions. We also have a wide range of production equipment available for rental. You can choose from a selection of Netflix approved cameras, modern lighting equipment, professional audio gear, 40-foot and 20-foot cranes, gimbals, drones, lenses, action cameras, and more, all at competitive prices. Whether you need a high-end cinema camera for a feature film shoot, specialized lighting equipment for a music video, or audio gear for a podcast, we've got you covered. And with our easy online booking system, you can reserve the gear you need in just a few clicks. Check us out online at sgpstudios.com.
Today to explain more about chronic kidney disease and treatment options available to you is Dr. Gurachan, our specialist nephrologist.
Welcome to the Doctor's Journal, Dr. Gurachan.
Hi, it's good to be here, Michael and Vishali, and good day to all viewers.
So, would you tell us, what has your experience been with CKD in Trinidad and Tobago?
And if you look at mortality statistics for Trinidad and Tobago over the last 10 years, we see that chronic kidney disease usually sits in that number 4, number 5 spot.
Wow, okay.
So that tells us that it is a huge problem in Trinidad and Tobago.
So who would you say is most at risk of getting chronic kidney disease then?
In most cases, it will be due to diabetes. It's the number 1 cause of chronic kidney disease worldwide. The number 2 cause being hypertension, which is also quite rampant in our country. Okay? So those patients are most at risk, and we do recommend that if you are at risk, you are screened for these conditions so that you can prevent a lot of complications later on, including chronic kidney disease.
So, Dr. Gurachan, how would you go about making a diagnosis of CKD?
Unfortunately, chronic kidney disease, like other medical conditions, could go unnoticed for quite a while. It may be difficult to diagnose unless you are routinely screening for it, but a lot of patients do come in late stage with a lot of complications from chronic kidney disease. That is unfortunate, but it is the reality that we live in. So take-home point is screening is essential. If you are diabetic, if you are hypertensive, you need to make sure that you at least annually check your blood tests. We do a blood test called a creatinine, among others, like electrolytes, but the creatinine tells us a little bit about the function of the kidneys as well. We also recommend that you get a urine dipstick. That simple urine stick that we test, and that tells us about whether there's any protein or blood in the urine that may herald other conditions that could cause chronic kidney disease.
So people who are diagnosed with CKD, what would you say is their prognosis?
So it is difficult, but we do separate it into patients who are just chronic kidney disease or patients who are late stage and are requiring some form of renal replacement therapy. In the earlier stages of chronic kidney disease, we do hope that we could control factors that promote progression of disease. And those factors would be, if you are diabetic, we'd like to get better control. Hypertensive, we want to get tight control of your blood pressures. And if you are a smoker, we do recommend that you stop smoking. Those three are the main factors that promote progression of chronic kidney disease. On the other end of the spectrum, you have those patients who are on renal replacement therapy. And we usually tell patients that it's not a quick fix, it's more of a patch, because we know that it doesn't return your lifespan to that of normal. On average, we know that patients do get probably about 5 years additionally in terms of their lifespan if they are on renal replacement therapies, as opposed to if they weren't on any renal replacement therapies. And that data is actually getting better as we understand more about the forms of renal replacement therapies that are available to us and how we could tailor those therapies to our patients.
So in the Caribbean and in our country here, what treatment modalities are available to us regarding CKD and end-stage renal disease?
Right, so I'm glad that you separated it into chronic kidney disease and renal replacement therapy, because when you are end stage, that's when you go to renal replacement therapies, and there are various forms of renal replacement therapies. I'll start with renal replacement therapies. There are basically two forms of renal replacement therapies. There is dialysis, which is further divided into two forms. The other branch would be transplantation, which is far superior to having dialysis, but we know it's probably a bit harder to get a transplant. In terms of dialysis, we divide it into hemodialysis or blood dialysis and peritoneal dialysis or tummy dialysis. Hemodialysis is a treatment where we aim to get access into a large blood vessel, or we create a connection between one of your arteries and veins, usually in the arm, that could allow us to take a lot of blood out of the body so that we could pass it through a machine that contains a filter that removes some toxins as well as fluid and return that purified blood to your body so that you don't get the negative effects of excess fluid or the effects of toxins in the body. Similarly, peritoneal dialysis also aims to clean the blood, but in a different way. We put a tube into the tummy and we instill fluid into the tummy. Around the gut, there's a membrane which we call the peritoneum, thus we call tummy dialysis peritoneal dialysis. And that membrane contains a lot of tiny blood vessels, which we think would allow free passage of toxins by diffusion into that fluid. And then after a few hours of that fluid being instilled into you, we simply drain it out.
Is any final words you would like to tell our viewers? Anything you'd want to pinpoint for them?
Yes, so basically, I'd like to let our viewers know that chronic kidney disease is usually due to other chronic medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, and therefore treating these things could prevent progression to any form of kidney disease. We do recommend diet, exercise. We also recommend that you do annual screening, just basic medical checkups, so that we could incidentally find any of these problems and we could have it addressed before it becomes a major source of complications.
Yeah, very important. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your knowledge and experience with us. I'm sure viewers hope it never gets to that stage.
Prevention is key, and it is always better to prevent than treat.
Plus, prevention is a lot more affordable. We only have our bodies, guys. With proper healthcare and following the tips in this episode, you're one step closer to living a better life and more fulfilling one.
And your best life. Thank you for joining us on the Doctor's Journal. My name is Dr. Mike.
And I'm Dr. Student Ryan.
Take care.
The Doctor's Journal was brought to you by O Snacks and Medical Associates Hospital.